Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya ayyuhal Muslimun. To the long-time listener and first-time visitor, we welcome you to this episode. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Alhamdulillah, hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fih, kama yuhibbu rabbuna wa yarda. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallahu wahdahu la sharika lah. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد يا عباد الله. Question: Is Allah the only creator? Ultimately, the answer is yes, right? In the sense that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the only one who brings forth something out of nothing. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates something out of nothing. Okay? And as we know with Tawheed, it is of three categories. At-Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, wat-Tawheed al-Asma' wal-Sifat, wat-Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, أو توحيد العبادة. We want to look at, بإذن ta'ala, the first of them when looking at this question, and that is التوحيد الربوبية. التوحيد الربوبية, then of course this is the Tawheed of Allah's Lordship, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the only creator. نعم التوحيد الربوبية هو إفراد الله سبحانه وتعالى بالخلق, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only creator, والملك, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one who owns the dominion of the heavens and the earth, والتدبير, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only arranger of the affairs. And it is to believe that لا خالق إلا الله, that there is no creator except Allah, وَلَا مَالِكَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ, and that there is no owner of the dominion except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا مُدَبِّرَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ, and that there is no arranger of the affairs except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so on and so forth. Now, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the only one who gives life, Allah ta'ala, He is the only one who causes death ultimately, so on and so forth. Now, all of this enters into a tawheed al-Rububiyyah, the Tawheed of Allah's Lordship. So now, how do we understand Allah Ta'ala's statement, فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ, that all praise is to Allah, أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ, who is the best creator. Now, who is the best creator. So, do we understand from this that there are others who also create? And this is where it is extremely important, or this is an illustration of the fact that it is extremely important for us to know and to understand our religion and to spend time studying it. Because the pure parroting of facts without understanding said facts is not sufficient. Now, we have to study and learn and understand our religion. This is of extreme importance. So I encourage myself and I encourage others to spend some time and to add more time into their daily regimen of studying Islam. Now, you will have to look at your own situation to see how best to fit that into your daily schedule. So if there is a portion of the day that you can allocate towards reading, then this is a must, to allocate said portion towards reading. Now, if there are other portions of the day that do not afford you the luxury of being able to sit and to read, then utilize those time frames to do something that fits that activity, but at the same time, you can still benefit. So here, I will encourage with listening to lectures, listening to sermons, listening to classes about your religion. So whether that be in the form of a podcast or audio or video, whatever, of course, video, if you can't watch it, then, you can't watch it. So for example, if you're driving, don't watch a video if you're driving. Listen to it. Listen to the audio, but don't pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to the road. The point is that in every instance, so if we're driving, if we're working, but we work in an environment that we can have on headphones or the like, or earbuds, right? Listen to a podcast about the deen. Listen to audios about the deen. Listen to classes, lectures about the deen. Listen to the Qur'an. Naam. It is important that we take full advantage of the time that we have and that we do the most we can do in that period of time. So if we can't read, okay, then we listen, right? So on and so forth, right? So this is something that I encourage. So Allah Ta'ala, He says, getting back to the question, Allah Ta'ala, He says in Surah Al-Mu'minun, and it's in the 14th verse, فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. So all praise to Allah, the best of the creators. So are we to understand that there are others who create along with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is while knowing the fact that ultimately, no, only Allah ta'ala, He creates. There are no other creators. But it's important that we understand the nuances of the language so that we can proper and more properly and better understand this question. So Shaykh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentions, he says, al-khalq al-thabitu lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, he said that creation that is affirmed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, and then you have, in other words, the creation that is affirmed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is not the creation, غير الخلق الثابت للمخلوقين, للمخلوق. This is not the creation that is affirmed to the creation. Okay? So there is a creation, or there is an ability to create, we should say, to make more sense, that is affirmed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this is not what is affirmed to the created things, to the creation. فَالْخَلْقِ ثَابِتْ لِلَّهِ, the creation or the ability to create that is affirmed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is huwa ijadun min adam. This is to bring something out of nothing, right? فَهَذَا لَا يَمْلِكُهُ أَحَدٌ. This, no one can do it except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To bring something out of nothing, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do this. But there is something that we call the ability to create that is affirmed for created things. Now, and this is in reality huwa taghyir. This is to change something. With tahwil, to bring something from one state to another state. Now, يحول الشيء من الشيء إلى الآخر. That something is brought from one state to another state to another state. Now, أو يغيره, or something is altered, something is changed. وليس إيجادا, not that it is brought out of nothing and made into something. So this, what we will call creation, then this is affirmed to what? To created things. So for example, the Shaykh brings a very good and clear example. He says, مثال ذلك, that an example of this, هو باب الذي أمامنا. He said that this could be the door that is in front of us. Now, so anyone who lives anywhere, you can look at the door that is in close proximity to you, right? And in this example, we're looking at a wooden door. And the Shaykh, he mentions and he brings a wooden door, right? He said, so this door, مَنَ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُ إِجَادًا, who is the one who created this door out of nothing? Now, meaning the source materials, and ultimately, then who? It is who? It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah خَلَقَهُ مِنَ الشَّجَرَةِ. Allah ta'ala created it from a tree. Now, وَلَا يَمْلِكُ أَحَدٌ أَن يَخْلُقَ شَجَرَةً, because no one has the ability to create a tree except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only Allah ta'ala can create a tree. Okay? حتى يكون منها هذا الباب, until as such this door now has come from that tree. So without the tree there is no door. You understand? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who created the tree. And then the Najjar, the carpenter, what did he do? He chiseled out, he put together this door from that source material from the tree. نعم فلهذا الباب this door then therefore يعتبر تحويلا وتغييرا. So this door ultimately is something that was reshaped, reformed. Something that was reshaped to something that was reformed. And then you also have to add the fact that not only did the carpenter, he just reshaped and reformed that source material, that wood that came from that tree, and made it into a door, but also remember the fact that that carpenter himself is what is created. Now, he himself is something that is created. So what were some of the faculties that created being used and utilized to make this door? He utilized his qudra, his ability, okay? Ilmi, he utilized his knowledge, right? Wa iradati, he utilized his irada. Naam. So all of this took place what? Biqudratihi wa ilmihi wa iradati. His ability, his knowledge, and his will to make this door. Okay? Here's the question. من الذي أودعه العلم والإرادة والقدرة? But who is the one who gave that carpenter the ability to have knowledge? Who gave him that knowledge? Who gave him that will? Who gave him that ability? Who gave the carpenter the knowledge, will, and ability? Then it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Na'am? It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the Najjar, remember, the carpenter, he himself is what is created. So what he did in making that door, Shaykh Uthaymeen, he mentions, is what is far'an an khalqillah subhanahu wa ta'ala lahu. Then this is something that is just an extension of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had created. Now, so although in the language the word create is used for the process that took the tree to be reformed and fashioned into a door, that process is still called creating, but ultimately this is changing something and reshaping and reforming it into something else. This is not the creating that is meant when we ask, is Allah the only creator? Meaning, is Allah the only one who creates something from nothing? Then the answer is yes. Allah is the only one who creates something from nothing. But with regards to changing things, taking that which Allah has created, shaping it and reforming it into something else, although this carries the label of the word creating, this is not the creating that we intend, but we ask, is Allah the only creator? This is not the creating that is intended when we're talking about at-tawheed ar-rububiyyah. We're talking about the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's the only one who creates something out of nothing. Just like we're talking about the fact that ultimately Allah ta'ala, he's the only one who owns, he's the only owner of the universe. Now, he is the sole owner and controller of the universe. Although you may have individuals who will come in and say, well, I own this house and I own this land and da. Their ownership is not an ownership that is in totality, because they themselves are property and they are owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what they have, they've just been given to them for a period of time, but ultimately it will be transferred to others. You understand? So their ownership of it is extremely limited. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is the ultimate owner and controller and sustainer of the universe. And he is not rivaled in this. There is no one that shares anything of that nature with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So is Allah the only creator? Yes, emphatically, yes, because Allah is the only one who creates something out of nothing. This is just some tidbits, inshallah ta'ala, and some points of benefit so that we could truly understand and truly benefit and in an attempt to learn just a little bit more about our religion, inshallah ta'ala. فإلى اللقاء استودعكم الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.